Before we get to this week's episode of Business Over a Brew, let me tell you about my friends at Roberts Motors. You know, one of our favorite episodes here on the show was when we had a chance to sit down with Sam and John Roberts. If you haven't had a chance to watch that episode, go back and take a look at it. It's great to see the interaction between not only two business partners, but of course father and son as well. They really epitomize what a local business is all about. Number one, doing business the right way, giving back to the community. If you have a chance, you may not buy a car from there, but at least give them the opportunity. Shop robertsmotors.com. You get more at Roberts Motors Ford. More selection, more value. Each vehicle they sell comes with the Roberts Rewards Value Package, which includes oil changes for 2 years, loaner cars, car washes, and much more. Get more at Roberts Motors Ford. Check them out at robertsmotors.com. Now enjoy this week's episode of Business Over a Brew. Welcome to Business Over a Brew. Pleased to be joined in this episode by Dallas March, General Manager of the Alton River Dragons, who just concluded their inaugural, very successful season here in the Riverbend. Dallas, thanks for coming on.
I appreciate you having me.
Tell us a little bit, for those that don't know, if you've been living under a rock, and what, just tell us about the concept of the River Dragons and what it's all about.
Absolutely. We're a summer collegiate league team, which means we have baseball players that come from all over the country and also here in our own backyard and spend the summer with us after their college baseball season is over, and kind of give them a little bit of a taste of a pro atmosphere. You know, play every day. We play with wooden bats, and we played a 60-game season in about 66 days, so it was pretty intense. We play in a league called the Prospect League, which is made up of 16 teams from here in Missouri, Illinois, and Iowa, all the way through Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. So it's a big league, and it was a lot of fun to be part of this summer.
How did you get involved with it as general manager? What's your background?
Well, I've got mostly a sales and marketing background. I had a little bit of radio experience way back in the day, ended up in the cell phone business, and then ended up in the marketing world with a big convenience store chain here in the Midwest. And then I met Steve Marceau, who owns our team, about 17, 18 years ago, and we've just kind of casually stayed in touch over the years, and would have maybe a conversation or two a year, and then as he started to look to get back into the baseball business, we started talking a little bit more, and one thing led to another. Next thing I know, I'm moving to Alton, Illinois, and feel very, very glad that I made that decision to come here.
Why did you leave radio?
I don't know. I know you know we've had these conversations. I love coming up to the radio station and hanging out with you guys, and once it's in your blood, you always keep at least a toe in radio. So it's been a lot of fun.
What were you doing in radio, just out of curiosity?
Oh gosh, I started off as a DJ. Actually, I started off pulling carts in Houston at a radio station, if you remember that. But yeah, and just got a job as a radio DJ at a high school, and then did that until I got into the sales into radio, and the next thing you know, I've got a little girl on her way, and married, a mortgage, and all that good stuff. And when I was in the sales into things, the cell phone company, the cell phone store, was one of my clients, and they offered me a job, and away I went.
We should maybe stop and take just a second to talk about the beer we're drinking. I said you're the first guest that brought his own beer.
Well, I wanted to when I first visited Alton last July of 2020, kind of in the middle of COVID, went into Old Bakery Brewery and had a beer and dodging the mask and everything, and when I was in there, I'm like, if this baseball thing happens, I want to team up with these guys and have our own beer. And sure enough, we were able to do it. Lauren at Old Bakery Brewery and their team there just did an outstanding job, and had my first one of these in May, the beginning of our season, and absolutely love it. So they did a great job. The can is just awesome with the pinstripes, and they just literally knocked it out of the park on this one. It's great stuff.
It really is tremendous.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about the River Dragons expansion team.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about how it got started, and I know you've known the owner for a long time. Is this something you guys have been thinking about for a while?
Well, he was in the process of putting a team in the Prospect League about 2 years before we started talking real serious.
Right.
And it finally, he called me up and he said, it looks like we're going to go to Alton, Illinois. And I didn't know where Alton was. I've been to St. Louis a million times, but right. I didn't know where Alton was. So I looked it up. I'm like, wow, we're just outside of St. Louis. This is a huge baseball environment down there. They've got great baseball fans, and so that I started getting more involved in probably June, maybe May of 2020 with Steve on, really strongly considering this move, and what a cool opportunity. I mean, and I tell Steve this all the time. I'm just so fortunate for him to have given me this opportunity, because when I joined up with Steve, we didn't have a name yet. We didn't have anything. So I got to be part of watching a baseball team be born, so to speak. And we did a name the team contest and came up with River Dragons. And then all of a sudden we had like 11 days before we made that announcement to come up with a logo. Unfortunately, I've got a good friend that lives out east now, but she's from the Midwest, and she was the first person I thought of about a logo. And about 4 days later, we had some sketches, and a few days after that, we were getting T-shirts made. So
I'm amazed at every step of the way. It seems like how quickly you all have moved through the process, number one, and number two, what a great job you've done of getting the community involved with the team and educating them about them, and really just a great job of marketing it.
Yeah, well, thank you. The community here in Alton, on both a personal and professional level, just welcomed me in to this community. And I sound like I'm joking when I say this, but I'm really serious. I felt like a stranger in this town for about a day and a half. I met so many great people as soon as I moved here, just the excitement that slowly started building around the team, and trying to do this coming out of COVID and everything was pretty tough, but we got the ball rolling slowly, and just got the momentum heading in the right direction.
Yeah, it was an interesting time to start the team, of course, with all the COVID stuff going on. I know there were some nervous moments there for you in terms of when are we going to start, how are we going to start, what's it going to look like? Talk a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, the first step for us when we first started getting going was reaching out to businesses in the area and try to get them on board as sponsors and corporate partners to put signage up at the ballpark. And again, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, because of the interest in local businesses here supporting something local, and they did a great job, and we couldn't have done it without them. We really couldn't have, because we needed that revenue to come in to help start paying for things that we needed to get paid for, and the business community stepped up, and we were able to create a great baseball environment out at Lloyd Hopkins Field with their signage, and it just ended up being just a beautiful setting out there for baseball.
You guys really did talk a little bit about the improvements to Lloyd Hopkins Field. You guys really did a tremendous job of improving the facility.
Thank you. The city did a great job taking care of the field, getting the field to where it was playable, and we were able to team up with the city to improve the scoreboard out there. So we have a brand new scoreboard with a video board, and it's just beautiful scoreboard, and that was installed and finished 2 days before our first game. So I admit I was a little bit of a wreck, hoping that this was going to be done on time, and it was, and it was a little bit of a learning curve with the video board, but there's all kinds of improvements happening out there. We did a lot of cleaning and stuff, and just got it ready for our first season, and we couldn't have asked for a better stage than we've got.
And then, as I recall, all the work to get it ready to go, and opening day's finally here, and you get a rain out.
Yeah, I tell you, the day was going along pretty good till about noon or 1 o'clock, and it started pouring. And it was too windy to get the tarp on the field, and it snuck up on us, and we ended up raining us out. But I got introduced to field maintenance that day. I didn't think I wasn't really sure what all this job entailed until I've been all the way through the process. And a lot of this job is getting mud up to your knees, right, and standing on a rain-soaked baseball field trying to get the water off of it. But yeah, unfortunately, opening day, the day that we had circled on the calendar, May 27th, and unfortunately, Mother Nature won that day. But we were able to get our first game in the next day, and then just sort of the process started.
Talk a little bit about the composition of the coaching staff and then the players.
Yep, our coaching staff. Of course, we hired a head coach last summer, and then he accepted a new full-time position, which made him unavailable to us. I think that was in October. And then we were able to hire a gentleman by the name of Daryl Handelsman that came and was our first coach, and what a great opportunity to bring a guy in that has over 20 years of coaching experience at the summer collegiate level, and he did a fantastic job. That we had about 80% of the team already put together from between the old coach, the first coach that we hired, and a little bit of work I did while we were between coaches. And then Daryl just kind of came in, filled in the gaps. Needed to find new assistant coaches, and we did that with our pitching coach, Jason Jones. Brian Rich, who came in, was our hitting coach. We actually had Butch Chapman, who is very well known in the baseball community here in Alton. Been around baseball from a player to coach to, and he coached with us this summer as well. And he was such a great addition and really kind of rounded out our coaching staff. And so from there, our players, they came from all over the place. We had every time zone represented. We had, I think, 13 states and about 10 or 11 different universities represented on our roster. And I think 5 or 6 of those guys were local guys from the Riverbend area between Alton and Bethalto and Edwardsville. And I said the other day is everybody that was in the position they were in this first season with us was meant to be there. From our office staff, our game day staff, our coaches, and our players. Every one of those guys that spent some time with us this summer, they were supposed to be here at this moment, and it just came off perfectly.
I mean, the concession staff, of course.
Yes,
too.
Yeah. There's somebody kind of close to you that helped out in the concession stand.
My daughter helped out, so
yeah.
we won't give her any.
Did a great job.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Make really good nachos now, so you should ask her about that.
I will. Maybe she can make those at home for me.
There you go.
So talk a little bit about next year, and you start over with the roster completely?
Technically, we do. You know, the agreements we have with the players are just for one summer. With that being said, one of our goals as an organization was to make Alton, make our team an organization where players wanted to come back for a second and sometimes third year. And because of the community support, because of the atmosphere we had out at the ball field this year, we've had a good 7, 8, 9, maybe as many as 10 guys either come to myself or one of our coaches asking about next year, wanting to come back. So that's very encouraging. I fully expect we'll be able to start talking about those players coming back rather sooner than later. And so we're super excited about that. So we'll see some familiar faces again next year for sure.
You have some local flavor, but kind of the behind the scenes stuff that maybe people don't know about is if you have an individual or a player from out of the area, where do they live? How does that process work?
Our host family program, which is one of the most important parts of our whole organization, is to be able to provide places for our out-of-town players to live. And we had several people step up this first summer. It was kind of hard to get host families because we were a new organization, so people were a little unsure of what we are, who we were bringing to town, and plus COVID didn't help either.
Right.
But once we got things going, once we got players here and our fans started showing up, coming to our games, they started seeing the caliber of people that we brought into the organization as players. And we signed about 4 more host families up during the season. And now that the season's over, we've had several applications for next season, and so next year will be a lot different. But yeah, we're host families, and it's a relationship you're probably always going to have afterwards. Once a player comes and spends 2.5 months with you, you get attached to those people usually, and it's a lifelong relationship, and it's really cool.
Well, I know just getting introduced to a few of the guys and hearing them on the radio. I know good players, but probably. You have to be happy with. I heard so many good things about what good individuals they were too.
Our players were awesome. I can't say that enough. We tried to include. We called it a Field of Dreams team, where youth teams would come out and be our Field of Dreams team, and it was usually youth baseball. We had a lot of youth softball teams come out. We even had soccer teams and dance schools come out and be the Field of Dreams team, and they would get to go out and meet the players before the game, stand with them on the first baseline for the national anthem. And then after our games, all of the kids in attendance that night would come out on the field with the players. The players would sign autographs, play catch, run the bases with players. And to me, a lot of times after games, I would just go out there and stand and watch because it was so neat. It was so neat seeing our guys, get down on a knee and talk to a 5 or 6 year old kid and sign his shirt or his glove. love, and it was really cool. The character of our team was just unbelievable, and that's one of the most proud moments that I had throughout this whole thing was seeing how well our players interacted with all of our fans, but especially the youth.
One of the cool things about it, I know something that you probably get asked a lot, are the people from the league, do they ever make it to the major leagues? And I know they do.
Yeah. Several people last year. I don't know what it is this year, but several players last year. I think I heard it was 9 players from the Prospect League made their major league debut last year. So yeah, there's a good chance that we could have a player or two come through Alton this summer that we're going to see put on a big league uniform one of these days. But it is just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before, if we haven't already, eventually have a player or two come through, spend the summer with us in Alton, and we'll see him maybe putting on a major league uniform one of these days. So that's exciting to think about.
You guys did a great job with the game experience. That was probably fell a lot to your shoulders. Where did you learn all that?
Well, fortunately, we had Steve Marceau, our owner, who's been in summer collegiate baseball before, so he had a good idea of promotions that would be, that would work, and fireworks. How can you go wrong with fireworks?
Sure, likes those.
Yep. So we had fireworks on opening night, we tried to do fireworks on opening night, but Mother Nature had a different plan. But we did fireworks after every Saturday night home game, and our fireworks shows were outstanding. So we had Steve to lean on a little bit about some promotional ideas, and we had the groups like the Zuper Stars and Tyler the Amazing Balancing Act, which was very unique, and we even had Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC from the 90s. He was there, a super cool guy. Had Fred Bird come out and join us for a game this summer from the Cardinals, and it was just a lot of fun with all the different promotions. You don't necessarily have to be a baseball fan to come out and have fun at a River Dragons game, for sure.
A lot of travel involved for you and for the team. One moment or experience that stands out to you from a travel standpoint from the past season?
Oh gosh, I did go on several of the trips, and the bus rides were always fun and interesting, and you did do a lot of listening. But two of the moments that stick out the most, I think we were going to Quincy, Illinois, to play a doubleheader, and we were watching a movie. We were watching a baseball movie, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was about a high school team in Iowa, and they went to the state championship, and it was a pretty quiet ride. We were watching the movie, and when the baseball game started in the movie, our guys started cheering and clapping and kind of getting into it. So that was kind of fun. And then we swept a doubleheader that night. So that might become our new bus.
Keep watching that movie.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. And then one of the other moments I remember on the bus was our very last bus ride over to O'Fallon for the summer. And it was our very last game of the season. And I don't know who it was, but one of our players, I heard him just say, "I'm going to really miss you guys." So those were my two favorite moments on the bus, and it was pretty cool.
Baseball can really, and sports in general, I believe, can really build relationships in a really compressed period of time, like it did in a 66-day season.
Yeah, it did. You know, we always met here at the Best Western Hotel. The bus would meet us here, and we could park our cars here when we went on trips. And normally when we would get back, it was, how fast can I get off the bus, get in my car, and leave? Well, that last night, we were here for probably an hour, everybody talking and hugging, and there were some tears involved. And it was just a really cool experience on a lot of different levels.
Well, you guys are definitely doing it the right way. We're really excited and happy to have you in the community, and appreciate everything you did for the community and just the way you got involved. And I know a lot of people have asked you, so where do you go now? You go back to Iowa?
No, I'm an Alton resident now. I just renewed my lease yesterday, so you're stuck with me for at least another year. So, but yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into every season, and I moved here September 1st, 2020, and got the ball rolling for 2021. So September 1st is just around the corner now. So it's time to get busy and get focused on 2022.
People want more information about the River Dragons, where can they go?
You can find us all over social media on Facebook and all that good stuff, and you can also go to altonbaseball.com.
Dallas March, General Manager of the Alton River Dragons. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoyed the visit.
Thanks for having me.